Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm here with Rob. We're going to talk sigils. I'll say it right one day, Rob. Sigils?
You
How are
might be
you?
right. That's the way I said it was Sigil. Hey everybody, what's happening?
It's
Glad
happening. How are you
everybody's
doing?
here.
What are you up to tonight?
Tonight, just this, trying to figure out, we're going to talk about it anyway. So I made a sigil for Bruce a long time ago, several years ago. And I had my own copy of it because I had messed it up. So, and I actually did a wood burning of it, and I'll bring it over on camera later. But I can't remember the exact word, and he's not home. He's got his directions put up somewhere because I told him how to do it or whatnot. And, one of the things I think we should let everybody know as we're talking about sigils, you know what? There's no set in stone method. There's methods that people like you and I were already talking.
Right.
If there's a double letter and you're making a sigil in that double letter, and I might be jumping way ahead, okay? You eliminate the letter, and I just use the letter one time. So, there you go. Intention.
That's it.
So we're going to get into all of that. There's nothing more about intention than sigils and things like that. So,
Exactly.
Bruce has always said those things you do, your candle stuff, things like that for abundance and prosperity. And, so I gave him one for the businesses and things like that. And he's always said, the man gets money coming in. I don't want to curse him or anything,
Right.
but you could drop him on a desert island and he's going to find a way to make a buck,
He's going to sell a cruise.
Yeah. But he's good about that. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad way, but he believes in that. He's the one that told me about, and I didn't even think about it. Hey, before you go in the parking lot, you need to be asking your angels to find you a good parking spot.
Right.
And you're like, last person I expected to hear that from was Bruce, But
he was doing that for years. Even like when we first got together 25 years ago, he was doing that. So he's more in tune with it than he lets on.
There we go. All right.
So let's talk about the sigils and what they are and why we use them.
Yeah.
Right? So
why don't you lead out? Where are you at with sigils, and these different things? How do you use them? What do you do? What do you do with them? And I've got some blank paper and a pen to kind of demonstrate in the other camera when we want of how we do some of these things. And a lot of people like Gillian will use runes, okay, that already have a built-in meaning. That's great. I have tried the runes. It's not they don't work for me. I can't remember them.
I have trouble.
It's my memory,
There's a couple that look pretty similar that I will confuse like one for the other. You know what I mean? In runes. But it's just another thing that you have to kind of focus your learning on.
Yeah.
But well, for me, it's more of it. It's a symbol that you design, you and me, and not any other people can design one and give it to you or design one for you. But ideally, you want to design it, and it's for whatever you're looking for, whether it's abundance or intention or health, prosperity, whatever it is, love. You're designing that sigil for for you, and it's there. Like you said, there's different ways you can do it. You can take all the letters in the word and create a design, or take out all the vowels, or take out double consonants, or limit yourself to only 3 or 4 or 5 letters in the word, whatever it is you want to do, and
you can do a whole affirmation of, about money flows or something. You don't want it to be 93, words long, because then that's a pretty intense thing.
Right.
But you can utilize more than one word. And so to get started, I guess we could say, is the sigil is it's your intention. So you don't want to just sit down and try to whip this thing out. Okay. The intentions are very important in sigils. The intentions are very important in magic, are very important in everything we do. You and I preach intentions is the underlying thing with almost all metaphysical, spiritual things. And that's what's important. And so one of the things I think makes sigils so powerful, if you're doing them right, there is a lot of intention and focus going into this, because you're doing it, you're making it.
Right.
So
Like
give me an idea of something like, all right, if you were going to use the word prosperity, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if you want, we can turn my camera on, and I'll write the word out.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get it up.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Am I designing the prosperity rune? The prosperity?
Yeah, because we'll do this twice. How you would, and just where you would start with letters and what you would do.
Okay. Cross out all your vowels.
Cross out all the vowels.
Mm-hmm.
And does that include Y for you? Or do you leave Y in?
I reserve the right to decide that at a later time.
Okay, there we go.
Cross out both the P's and both the R's.
And both the R's.
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves you left with S, T, Y.
So that's how I would design it. I would take those letters and and for me, I'm not taking my pen off the paper.
Okay.
So I'm creating the S. Okay. Now put your line from the bottom to the top, right? And then go across for the T. And then go back to the middle of the T and make the V to cross to make the Y up.
Do the what now?
Make like the V in the middle of the T.
Oh, right here?
Right. So the middle of your T, you're gonna have like a V coming out, so that the line to your T and the line to your V create 2 letters.
S, something like this. This is really quick. T, come back here, and then here.
No.
Okay.
It would have been above the T line.
Oh, above the T line. Okay.
Yeah.
But people are getting the idea, and that's your way of doing it. That's one of the things you would do. Now, if I were the way I do it, I'll go prosperity. And if anybody has any questions, let us know. Prosperity. I would cross out one of each letter that is doubled. I would cross out the vowels. So that would leave me with P, R, T, and then Y. So I might would look at this like starting this with, here's my P. I don't mind picking my paper up as long as I'm focusing my attention. And now the intention the whole time is prosperity. You should be saying, bringing prosperity and abundance to flow to either yourself or the person you're giving this to. P. Then I might actually come from there into here to the R. All right. and I might come right through here with a T, and then bring in the Y. And that's where, with this one, it got a little more of a design to it, okay, when I made it for Bruce, okay? I try to make it where it doesn't look like the letters. It's an actual sigil. And then what I did was with this one, and this is something you can do, everybody, put it on trace paper, okay? Rub that paper on a subject, and what really works well is then wood burn that into a piece of wood if you're going to keep it, permanently, because you don't have to keep it permanently. This is where we would then get into activating it, okay? So how would you activate, how have you activated some of your sigils?
I really just kind of take them. I will put them by my crystals and sort of just be like, here's my intention for this. I might light a candle. I might do some incense, but I don't really have like a whole, like, I'm activating, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
like I just kind of am like, all right, I sit down, I create the sigil. While I'm creating it, I sort of meditate on what the purpose of it is. And then to me, that's kind of activated. Like, I don't think I need to put it under moonlight or wave it in the sunshine or anything like that. That's just my opinion.
Right.
I might, again, light a candle, because I believe that when the flame, it brings it out into, it helps to manifest whatever the intention is.
Right, put it next to the candle or under the candle. Or
under it,
like
next to it, yeah. Maybe a crystal to amplify the energy, whatever.
Right.
Whatever.
And if you can make it in the right way, and you could actually carve it into a big enough candle or a thick enough candle or whatnot, and let that burn through. One of the things I did when I first started learning about sigils is, and folks, again, to me, a sigil is something that I put my intentions out. I'm saying things out loud while I'm doing it. I'm not just doing like an art project and listening to Jerry Springer on the tube while I'm doing it. I'm literally, it's me, it's that sigil, it's what's going on. I'm doing prosperity, and I'm making it, and I'm designing something that feels right to me. Now, to me, to activate it, I have one of two things to do, like I did with Bruce. Saged it, put the right candle stuff on it. I activated it, and I also gave him instructions when he got home for him to activate it for himself. The sigil is something you can use to help remind you of your intentions, putting it out to the universe, and when you see it, you should be doing it. Another one I did, and I did some reading on, was I needed something several years ago gone from my life. I needed it. I needed to step away on a clean slate. So I actually put it on a piece of paper, all right, and wrote a special word down that did that, and then made this symbol. But then what I did was, with the fire, I actually took it into the bathroom, okay, held it over the commode, all right, and lit it on fire, saying, this very thing will now no longer bother me. It will go away or whatnot. And I lit it on fire, okay, and let it burn until I could hold it no more by the corner, and dropped it into the toilet and flushed it away.
Yeah.
So folks, that's what, if you got a question, let us know. All right. And we will, let's see what's happening, and we will be glad to try to answer them. So sigils are, Gillian she's a big rune person. She knows the runes and everything else. So she will use runes. And then what you do with them is, remember, they're to be used. If you're going to keep it, you treat it right. You do things. You put it in a place to be remembered, like Brigitte puts it with her crystals, things like that. I'll put one with candles, things like that over there, or on my little altar or whatnot. But would you say that's one of the most important things, is that you're reminding and you're trying to put, the reason I like doing the wood burning was I was literally saying the word as I was burning it into the wood. So I felt like it definitely picked up my intentions. So then when the intentions were all in it, and then it needed to be activated, so
I think, when you want to keep it somewhere where when you see it, it's going, you want to reflect on it over and
right.
over and over again, right? And before we came on, though, we were talking about putting them under your, like if you're working or whatever, right, drawing a small one on your wrist and keeping it under your watch band. And maybe during the day you sort of see it, or inside your phone case, or under the insoles of your shoes, in your bra, whatever. But you want it somewhere where, if you come across it, you're going to reflect on it,
Right.
And the intention of it. If you put it under the insole of your shoes, whatever the intention in your shoe is, maybe to walk you, down a successful path or whatever. When you're walking, this is the thing that you want to focus on, but I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with them. You can, I've read about people like doing salt water and putting them on the front walks of their house, or maybe on their windows, or just anything like that. You steam up the mirror in your bathroom, you make a sigil in the corner for protection, or whatever it is that you're looking for. And it's kind of like stirring intention into your coffee. It's kind of the same difference, right? Every morning we talk about that all the time. You're stirring your coffee, and as you're stirring it, you're stirring your intention. So you make your sigil, and as you're making it, you pour your intention into it, and then every time you see it or you think about it, you reflect on that intention, and you then pour more intention into it.
And the power of the written word, it is so powerful. People don't really give it enough credit when it's done with very strict intention guidelines, things like that, or whatnot, because it is. And even there's a story in the Bible where people were coming up and they were going to, and I forget which one, I can't believe I'm actually forgetting which one it was, but they were going to either stone a woman, something like that. There was some problems. And what happened in the Bible, and it never says what he wrote, but it says he drew in the sand. All he did, he never spoke a word, but he drew in the sand. And as people saw what he was drawing, they left. It dispersed the whole crowd, And so even Christ believed the power of writing things in the sand, of knowing the power of intentions and in what is going here. There's been speculation. So he started writing the names of people down that were there that were doing their own things or whatnot, but they don't know. But I find it funny that, to me, I think that he drew a sigil of some sort, because I think it would have been too easy to go, Jesus started naming the names in the sand, But I don't think Matthew either saw it, and it was Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. I think there's a story in all four of the Gospels about it. But they either saw it or they didn't understand it, and they didn't ask. So there's no actual meaning to what he drew in the sand.
Right.
So that was a long way around. We'll talk about intentions, but
Well, Gil says that she writes on a bay leaf and puts it in her wallet. So
she's the one that taught me she will never give somebody a wallet, a billfold, a purse. She tries to put those Chinese coins in there,
Right.
you know. But she will always put a dime, a quarter, a penny.
Penny.
You
Yep.
never hand somebody an empty, something that's a money clip, any of that stuff. So Gillian's taught me a lot, has taught me an immense amount of money, and I can't say thank you enough. So, Cynthia's saying put them on the front door with oil or holy water. Exactly. But it's the intention. But you can't just go whip something out and go, okay, I'm writing this in the dust, and that's going to do it. Each time you approach the door, you need to remember that phrase and quote it and talk about it and make it happen for you. So let's see what's going on there.
Cynthia wants to know, do we put our bay leaves in a simmer pot and let them brew? I'm like the queen of simmer pots, especially this time of year. I do a lot of simmer pots. I have a bunch of herbs and I'll just throw them in there, especially if I'm trying to change the energy in the house or something. I prefer them over smudging. Sometimes you've got to smudge or do Palo Santo or something, but I will prefer a simmer pot over a smoke-filled house anytime.
Yeah.
To try and sort of alter the energy in the house. Plus, it smells good. But I don't do just bay leaves though. I'll get oranges or apples, cinnamon, rosemary, cranberries. If cranberries are in season, I'll throw cranberries in there. Star anise, throw in my simmer pot. It all depends. Also, if I'm just doing like a make the house smell good, feel good for the holidays type of thing.
Yeah.
I'll just throw some stuff in. But if there's, like I made for you guys, the herb mix for those simmer pots that one year, right?
Right.
And there were specific herbs in them. I think one was for protection and one was for, I think, prosperity and abundance. So there was specific herbs in those that I put in the simmer pot, that I put in the mix for you to put in your simmer pot so that you could, it's simmer the intention. But
and that I don't do simmer pots. I think Gillian used to. We've kind of gotten out of it. We've gotten so busy. It's like we're always afraid we'll forget the pots on the stove, or whatnot. But what I have done with the bay leaves, I've written my stuff on my bay leaves. I've made my carvings in the candle, and even Cynthia mentioned, doing some certain things when I was looking for something. She helped me figure out some things that needed to be. And what I would do, I was doing some candle magic, and I took all of those same things and I put them in my mortar and pestle,
Mm-hmm.
and I ground it all up as much as I could together. But even the bay leaf still had the word on it, okay? And I wrote that on there. But even when I crushed it up, and the whole time is intentions.
Right.
Then I crushed them all up, took the candle, rolled it because I wanted something to go away in oil, okay? Rolled it away from me, all right? Then put those herbs out that I had crushed and rolled the candle in those herbs away from me, okay?
Right.
And then that's when I lit the candle and let the candle burn to nothing, So
I've done that. I've dressed candles before for that too. But if you're ever worried about your simmer pots, get a digital crock pot, just a small one, and set it for a couple of hours. It'll automatically shut off. And then you don't have to worry about burning the house down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because let's face it, we're not the most, I'll talk about myself, memory being, like I said, I'm having problems trying to figure out how to memorize runes, and I even constantly have to ask her about, the astrology signs, things like that, because I'm like, wait a minute, who's doing this and who's doing what? And
right.
She's my own little, she's my own little external hard drive, so she helps me. But Brigitte does fantastic simmer pots. I have used hers. That's what Gillian's saying.
Thank you, Gillian.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was always like, "What's that?" Oh, Brigitte. Brigitte did a summer pot. Okay, there we go. So no, I love them, and again, it's all the intention of what you're putting in there. Like you said, sometimes you just want the house to smell good, and
Right.
when you're doing the smell good, you can then go around Palo Santo, sage, clean out the house, go back around with some lavender, bringing in some beautiful things, or reverse that, use the lavender to bring everything in, but lavender brings everything in, and then go back and do the Palo Santo sage to remove anything that's unwanted,
Right.
So blah, blah, blah. And, but it's a good time because it helps you connect to spirit in so many different ways.
Yeah, it does, especially when you sit and even with the sigils, it's sort of like a little bit of self-care too, right? Because you're going to sit and you're going to spend X amount of time. It's, you're not going to sit down and just go, oh, well, boop, 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 we're done. Like the way Rob and I did it, it was very quick.
Yeah, give you an idea of what to do.
Right. You want to look at what you're working with. You want to decide how do you want it to look? Which ways do you want, where do you want to put the letters? Sometimes, you don't want to you want to lift your pen off the paper and you want to put an M over here. It's connected, but it's like off to the side now. You know what I mean? Like it's different. So,
right.
But it's like it's a little form sort of meditation, right? Because you're sitting there. It's almost like when you color. Almost, you're sort of, your focus is there. It's on your page. What you want, what you're focused on, your intentions, how you want it to look. So you're putting a lot of thought into it. You're not just kind of half-assing it and then lighting a candle next to it to make it happen.
Right.
I think that sort of thing is very intentional.
Yeah. I'm doing another short one here, and people can see it with the STY of what you did, and make it mean something. Make it artful. Make it what this is prosperity. This is actually what I'm doing. So what I did here was I drew a circle. Okay, so to me it keeps everything in. Doesn't represent an O or anything, but it could be the frame for my sigil. And I start then from the O or from the circle, there is my S. And it comes and blends right back in. All right. And then the T actually came right down here. Is that where I did it? When I do it, I'm into doing it and trying to remember. But here is the T. ST. You could even look at it this way. You've got the T like this, and then you've got the Y like this. It's up to you. There's no rules. The minute somebody tells you got to do this, you got to do that, remember the Rev's rule book, alarm bells start going off. We do know it is common practice not to use the vowels.
Right.
Okay.
So
it is common practice to either eliminate both repeated consonants or use one. You will find it either way. Okay.
I came across something very interesting about the type of sigils. It says there's two main approaches: chaos magic sigils that come from letter reduction, or intuitive or symbolic sigils that arise from imagery. Chaos sigils rely on energetic distillation, while symbolic sigils use archetypes, lines, and forms to communicate a message. Both methods work, and the key is doing the one that resonates with your magic. So,
yeah. And one of the things here is to remember, like I've got like if you're going to do, it broke it down like this. I found an example when I was looking this up of the phrases I was talking about. I speak my truth with confidence. Remove all the vowels, A-E-I-O-U. And they left the Y in place, which left them with S-P-K-M-Y-T-R-T-H-W-T-H, which is massively long. But then the next thing was remove repeating letters. So what was left is what they did was removed each repeating letter, but left one signifier like I do it. Okay. And it winds up being SPKMYTRHWCND. All right. Yeah, it's huge. But if you're going to make a nice proper sigil, or you're going to do something and you want to take your time, this needs to mean something to you. It needs to really be coming from your heart. But don't forget, you don't have to make an S like an S. Okay. S can be a series of curves. A line with a loop can be the P. You know, you could do a line like this and then draw a P by putting a circle next to it. This is up to you and your design and these different things. And these are very powerful.
Your letters don't have to go this way. You can do an M like this, or a T like this, or
upside down, or backwards. Right. Yeah, exactly. You know, split lines. T is a cross. You can do a T, you know, like having a circle or not having a circle, but having a T just be a straight, what looks like a cross in the middle of a piece of paper, you know? These are different things. And R, angled loop. It gives you a whole bunch of things. An open curve, ends, angled line. D, a half loop, you know? So if you have a straight line in there, don't care what angle it's at, okay? And you can do, you know what? Here, let me do this. I just had a great idea for a D, okay? If I was doing and you don't have to do this, it's just, it gives me a place in my mind to start, okay? If I'm going here like this, I can now say I have a D.
Right.
Okay. And I can go here and go, I have a P. So let your mind flow. It's for you. The whole world doesn't need to understand it. Okay. You don't have to re-explain it. Never thought I was going to have to re-explain Bruce's, but here we are doing a class on sigils. Okay. They are powerful things for you. And then even here, if you wanted to do a D, you could just start with a D sideways, no circle. Okay.
Right.
So if we wanted to go D, okay, I'm worried about my dog. All right. You could literally then come out and just however you want to make a G in here off of these lines. It's what speaks to you, when you get done, you may get done and go, this doesn't look right. Do it again.
Right.
Keep redoing.
Right. Well, I mean, one of the things they do say is that if you overthink it, then you're putting that negative connotation in there, and you're gonna counter whatever it is you're trying to do. Whether it's
the minute you're getting aggravated at it, quit. Quit. Yeah. Go meditate, do whatever, come back the next day, give it a day. It's okay. I'm going to make a prosperity sigil. But that's like everything. Like I've always said, anything to excess is bad.
Right.
And trying to get perfectionism into your sigil is bad.
Right. Because you're going to that's the intention you're going to put into it. Not really, you're going to put things into it that you don't really want to. Right. But there was a lot of, I'm looking for this. There's a lot of interesting ways to work it into your life. This one guy says he traces it on his skin with essential oil. So then you don't even have the pen marks. They'll put it one, you know, like make one in the bottom of their coffee cup, maybe with a little bit of creamer or something, you know, and carry it around with them. You know, it's just a way to align your intentions daily. Um, and the cool thing about using the sigils too is you can use them with your crystals, with your tarot cards. You can use them with herbs. You can do them in specific colors to design them, you know, with the matching color for your intention. Like we all associate green with abundance and prosperity, right? So you can do yours a green color if that's what you're looking for. You know, all kinds of stuff. You know, if you put it out under a full moon, you've got lunar amplification, just all kinds of neat stuff.
Yeah, and don't we have a new moon tonight or something?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow's the new moon. So yeah, I mean, you can do one there and see how the new moon will affect your manifestation versus a full moon or whatever, you know.
If you need to get an idea, I also remember there was a couple of sigil makers online. All right. I recommend you use them to get an idea, but then you copy them so you're putting your own energy into it yourself. Print it, redraw it, do it for yourself. But Sigil Scribe, ChatGPT says that's actually one of the most popular ones that's being used. Okay.
Really?
And it's all one word. Text, and it will instantly give you a sigil. Clean, modern, based on chaos magic formulas. So
Right.
there you go. Then there's chaos magic easy for me to say. Sigil generator. Okay. cg.sigilengine.com. Sigil generator by Tyler Dukes. There's also out there, and I can't find it. When I first started doing sigils, there is a mathematical formula that helps you come up with, there's a grid, each letter is represented by a number, and you go to that number and you connect the numbers for the letters, and it's a very angular sigil. Right. Okay. That one didn't speak to me, but it works. Okay. If it works for you, but you don't get any of the curves, or unless it's that you make a whole bunch of straight lines, it actually turns into a curve. All right. So it's one of those things.
Cynthia wants to know why you're putting yours in a circle.
It's to frame it. And that's one of the things, a lot of things I believe, let me see here. Yeah. Enclose it in a container shape. Okay. It can be in a triangle. It can be in a circle. This is just my personal belief. I like to give it a home. Okay. And that's why I use a circle a lot. A square, stability. The triangle can mean manifestation. I actually looked some of these up again because it's been so long. A hexagon, cosmic alignment. These are some of the things that kind of just give you that thing for you. You don't have to do that. Okay. That's what I do. All right.
Right.
So I want it to look a little more artsy for me. Okay. That helped do that. But then I found out there's, things for encompassing it. Circle, the never ending unity, bringing it all together, things like that.
And guys, I don't do all that. You know me. I am a lazy witch. I am a lazy witch. I sit down, I think about it. I mean, I put the intention into it, but I don't think about it in terms of, if I put a hexagon around this or I put a circle around this, what does it mean? I've done my little thing and I've done it, and that's how it's done. I just don't think that much about it. Like, if I put a circle around it or a triangle around it, how is that going to help it? Maybe I should. Maybe I'll manifest things.
Right.
Better. But I don't. I'm very, very, very much a do what feels right for you practitioner. Honestly, so I mean, there's. I don't think there's any right or wrong way. I just think whatever the way is, it is. So if you do it and you don't do it the way I do it, or you don't do it the way Rob does it, doesn't mean that you're not doing it the correct way. So
Exactly. And then, like I said, then the thing is charge it, activate it, however you want to do it. You can burn it. You can literally meditate over it. You can draw it on a candle, but you want to activate the sigil so it becomes a living thing. Then never, if you're done with it or whatever, you don't want to just throw this in the trash. I would always, if you're done with the sigil, it's done its thing. If this wasn't a permanent thing, dispose of it properly. And I believe that's with fire. Put it in the fire, burn it, that type of thing. But you don't want to just throw it away. It's disrespectful to me. Personal opinion.
not
What
me.
do you?
When it's done, it's done for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's done, it's done. Um, it's served its purpose. I personally don't find it disrespectful to put it in the trash or whatever, especially if it's a piece of paper, I might burn it. But
Right.
if it's something else, that's like wood or plastic or something, I'm not. I'm just throwing it out. I'm not burning it. I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, not usually.
Okay.
It just depends.
And see that there again,
But
what works for you works for you. What works for me works for me.
I mean, we
And
were
that is,
talking about crystals last week, and when
yeah,
my crystals break, I throw them in a big vase with all my other random crystals, and I let them recharge and absorb whatever that energy is. I don't
yeah,
bury them. I don't throw them out. Sometimes I will. Depends on how broken they are, but
right.
it's just me.
And if the sigil doesn't seem to be working, remember you have to put your intentions out. If it's something you're looking to manifest, it's going to take actions. Are you doing what you need to do? Or Hillis pointed out in a show one night, there's a difference between manifesting and materializing.
Realizing, yeah.
Okay. And are you trying to just materialize customers and money and things like that? And, are you trying to manifest it? Well, if you're trying to manifest it, that means, are you making phone calls? Are you talking to people? When an opportunity presents itself, are you actively there?
Right.
Yeah,
Are you looking for the opportunities? That's my thing. I usually when I manifest or I try to manifest, it's okay. I usually ask for opportunities versus like the actual thing, right? Because everybody wants a pile of money. Everybody wants to hit lotto. Everybody. So usually my manifestation is, well, can you guide me? Can you help me seek out or guide me to the opportunities I need to be able to get those customers or speak to people or, you know, whatever it is, create the thing, you know. So that's usually where my manifestation lies.
Yeah. So sigils are merely another tool. Use them or not. That's up to you. If you're going to do anything that is going to be a symbol, you're going to put your intentions into it. It's going to be basically an inanimate object that you're going to try to animate so the energy of you is coming out in it. Then you just have to take it seriously. You have to treat it with that respect, of here's your intentions. Yes, it might be as simple as, you know what? We've had a little problem with money coming in this month. We had some things happen. So I need to do prosperity. And so you do your STY, okay? Doesn't mean you're doing any less. You're putting your whole thing into it, your whole intentions, and you're putting it underneath your green candle and saying, okay, I've got a little weak here. We need to have some prosperity flowing through the house again to open my eyes up. It doesn't have to be complicated, folks. It really doesn't. The key is that intention.
Right. And Gil says, as long as you're offering thanks for its work or the job, it's done. That how you discard it is really, it's less of an issue,
Right.
It's the gratitude and all that stuff behind it. Again, intention, right? This is everything in it, and, you talk about that stuff and it's so funny because, maybe you do that, you put it under the candle and you do all that stuff. And then you walk through the house and you notice something in the house that you didn't notice before that could be part of what's blocking
Yep.
the opportunity, blocking the prosperity, blocking, and you remove that. And suddenly now you've got the abundance flowing again or whatever. So
Absolutely. So, I mean, all right. So is there anything else, or anything you want to talk about? Any other questions? Cynthia, again, you can just draw a $sign. Yes, you can, but the key is going to be the intentions. So spirit knows if we're going with energy, you need to remember with energy, you need to be specific. What, not just, I want money, but money what? Money might pass right through your hands from somebody to you to somebody else, and you fulfilled that sigil with just being money. Use your words, okay? And say, I need prosperity to flow while you're making this, and just have it be prosperity, okay? I need an abundance of wealth. I need, however you want to do it.
I need to settle my debt. I need to do, I try to be very specific when I'm asking for stuff like that. Like, not just I need money, because I can come across 2 quarters and a nickel laying on the ground in a parking lot. And that's money, and it's money I need, right? But it's not the right amount of money I need. You know what I mean? It's not particularly what I'm looking for. So I need enough money that's going to settle my debt. I need enough money that's going to allow me to purchase that car or that house or rent that apartment or, buy that thing or fix that roof or get that surgery. That's what, that's what you're looking for. A lot of times I'll say, I want enough so that I'm financially independent. I don't want to have to work for Big Brother, the man, anymore. I want enough that I'm, I can pay my bills and feed the family and do all the things. And it doesn't mean that I just want to, do I want a pile of money and I don't have to ever do anything again? Absolutely. But what I want is enough money to live, but also I don't mind working. I don't mind doing something I like. I don't mind. I would do this every day if I was bringing in $200,000 a year. You know what I mean? Like I would do. So for me, ultimately that's like when I'm wishing for that stuff, that's my goal. So you've got to decide what is it specifically that you're looking for.
And that specifics is important. I've gotten on to numerous people, and I used to be guilty of this. When people say, and a lot of times they say it when they're down, when they're out, when they're angry, things like that, which just generates in a video I just did. It talks about anger being a power outlet, and that puts that energy into what you're saying when you're angry or when you're depressed. It's absorbing your energy. And a lot of people will say, I just want to pay my bills. And then you complain when all you can do is pay your bills. But your bills are getting paid. You're living from one paycheck to paycheck, but you're getting exactly what you asked for. No, I want
You're
more
making the
than that.
bills every month.
I want to be able to live a life. I want to travel. I want to be able to do things. Now, a lot of people confuse money with happiness. Okay. And I found it funny. There's a new Keanu Reeves movie out. I saw the trailer for it the other day where he's an angel.
Where he's the angel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see
And, you know, he's talking to his boss. His boss saying, why did you make him rich? And he said, well, I was proving to him that money wouldn't solve his problems. And she looks at him and goes, did it work? No, it solved most of his problems. You know? So it's like, you know, so I'm not trying to sit here and say money won't solve your problems. Okay. But money and happiness. Okay. A lot of times if we say, I just want to be happy, well, remember, if you're paying your bills, you're living your life, your kids are there, everything's going good. Maybe Spirit might say, you've got what it takes to be happy. Right. You just need to understand. So be specific in your requests and what you're targeting and where your intentions are going, what you want, because Spirit may not give you everything you've asked for because it may cross up with, well, I can give you all this money, but you also asked me to keep you being happy. And I can see down the road, it's going to get you in trouble. You see what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah, so, absolutely. Absolutely.
A vague request needs to be clarified. A dollar amount helps the intention, but fulfilled towards what you are looking for. Yes. Yes. And you can keep redoing that. Hey, like I love what you said. I've got a surgery, a medical bill. You know, I need to get this medical bill off my back. And when that money comes in, boom, okay, shelf done. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Sigil. Dispose of it properly, whatever. Okay. Now, what's the next thing we need to focus on? Doesn't mean you stop. Okay. You know, so yeah, that's, you know, use your words, people. Absolutely. Don't take shortcuts. Just don't. It's not worth it. Okay. All right.
It's not. And also don't try to build too much stuff into it either, right? You don't want to pack it fat, and because then it's like, well, where do we start? What do we give you first? You know?
And that's where, you know, I've talked to people that wanted to start a business. All right. Well, and I say, well, what's the first step? You got to take an action. You've asked Spirit to help you start this business. What are you doing? And before they even asked it, they didn't know where to take the next step, what to go. And I would ask them, are you wanting in a brick and mortar? Or are you wanting an online business?
Right.
And you see them stop and go, I don't know. You know, okay. Well, Spirit has a hard time helping you if you don't know. Okay. So first step first, start. What does it take in my area to rent a brick and mortar store? You find out and you're like, whoop, looks like I'm building a shop on Etsy. Okay. Or, you know, what we found out when I had 2 studios, you know, in Melbourne Beach, because we just simply said, hey, guy had a sign out in an office complex, offices available. And it was in Indialantic. It was like a block and a half from the beach. So we're like, we know this is just going to be on Fifth Avenue. You know, all the big money things are there. I'm like, yeah, this is ridiculous. But we took the step. One studio wound up being $350 a month with the power, with the water. And we were like, what?
Yeah, it was nothing almost. Yeah. Right.
Spirit laid that out. Then the office came available right across that was even bigger. Oh, y'all were here already. You're paying your bills on time. Another $350. You can have both.
Right. I remember that. That was a cute little area too. That was a nice little office.
Yeah. So I had one side dedicated as a studio and one side dedicated as counseling, you know, office reading, doing things like that. But it was the whole thing came to fruition because we made a phone call.
Right.
Spirit did Spirit's job and helped us manifest a dream, okay? And literally, we would have never been able to do that. And we had it for what, year and a half, 2 years? Okay.
Yeah, you had it for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. And we said, you know what? There's our first step. A step can be as small as checking a rent sign. A step can be as small as going, how much is it going to cost me to get a website built? Okay.
Or how about, do you even have a name for your business? Do you know what you want to call it? For the longest time, I had no idea what I wanted the name of my business to be. And I tossed around this name and that name and this name. So, you know, I mean, for me, it was, you know, well, you got to have a name. You can't do your LLC and you can't have all that stuff going on if you don't know what you're going to call yourself, you know? Right. So.
Absolutely right. You know, and that's just one of those things. And you can pull the camera down if you want or what.
Yeah, I'm just doing that now.
So folks, manifesting and bringing things to light using sigils is a powerful motivator. Okay. A powerful thing to do. And we strongly recommend it. Okay. But use it in the right frame, use your intentions right, do things. But then if you're wanting to make something happen, I need this person to get out of my life. Okay. Then you can't call them. You know what you can't write them a letter. You can't be sitting around all day wondering what they're doing. If they're getting there, they're gone. They no longer even are material or matter in my life. Okay. To the point where if I hear something happen to them, oh, that sucks. I hate to hear it. And I'm moving on. Okay.
Right.
Materialization and our manifestation has to do with are you doing what you need to do? I got to get out of a relationship. Did you tell them to go the hell away? Yeah, the first step, you know, one of those things. And that can be hard, but be surprised how many women, especially I talk to, of I've got to get a divorce. This is not good. Okay. So what attorney have you talked to? Nobody. There's a divorce attorney on every corner and they all give hour free consultations. And I tell them, call one, call another, call another. I said, you can do about 20 hours of consultation asking questions for free. And then you pick the right one to help you get it done. Because a lot of people are afraid of, they're letting fear, well, I'm not going to have a place to live, the property, blah, 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 all of these different things. Okay. But we don't make the one move to help us out and get your questions answered. Doesn't mean you got to follow through the next day, you know? And that is a common thing where people they just keep staying in the same thing. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a result. This is manifesting. This is part of, okay, that's what you want. Spirit will help you. They'll help you find the right attorney. They'll help you find the right building. They'll help you find the right partner. They'll help you find the right thing. But what are you doing, you know, to help bring this to light?
Right.
All right. So, I got a little preachy there. I'm sorry. Got on my soapbox.
Fashion. But yeah, so I think that a sigil is just a cool kind of different way. It's out of the box, right?
Right.
And you can use it and you can integrate it into so many different things. Whereas like if you're doing candle magic or whatever, like you can carry that sigil with you and nobody around you knows. But if you're burning a candle surrounded by herbs with crystals, you know, everybody kind of, you can't do that at work. You can't put that on, you can't light a bonfire on your desk at work. Well, I guess you could once, but
yeah,
you know,
have your altar going and then invite the priest over for dinner. You know, yeah, right. It's like, well, Yeah, please drink from that cup.
That's hysterical. Hey, girl, but
Hey, I've got some, you asked me before what I got going on my channel. I'll go over there and look at it. I put a video out. It's not that long, but I'm starting to get into some stuff that I'm like, you know what? I've kept my mouth shut long enough. It's not so much political as it is political about what's going on, why the anger, what's happening. There's a video over there saying what's happening, and it's talking about people asking the wrong questions, that they're keeping us busy. I'm starting to get in some things like that and using tarot cards to explain it, not pointing anybody's right or anybody's wrong, but here's what's going on and what does your anger talk about. And I just gave one to that's going to be up probably within the next 3 or 4 days. I did the Epstein files. Okay. I actually did a reading on the Epstein files. And again, not pointing at anything, but it again came out about different things that we're being hoodwinked over, everybody, and we need to start waking up and looking what's going on and stop letting our emotions rule everything.
Wow.
So check those videos out, and that will be good. Put your comments in there if you agree, disagree, or if you want, what's the next rabbit hole you want to see me go down? Because this is all new for me. I've always tried to stay neutral, and I think these are both neutral, okay? But they're me saying my truth, and I show the cards that were pulled and actually did spreads for them, and they're in there. So if people want to check that out, go check it out.
Yeah. All right. That's cool. Curious to see what that says.
Go check. I think
personally, I think no matter what they release, it's not even going to be remotely what they have. It's all going to be bullshit, fluff. So, you know what I mean?
They can't even agree if there's a client list or not. One party saying, "Oh, there is no client list. That was all made up," and the whole thing. And when you start really researching it, what I did was I pulled some cards, but then I got in and started researching it a little bit because I didn't know. And one of the things I bring up in there, a little tease, is one of the things that has everybody angry. Nobody knows the truth. And we don't have a place to go that we know somebody will tell us the truth. And the Epstein thing was one of the first things that really burnt our trust with the federal government as a whole. And, got people, and that's where our anger is coming from, things like that. But we're all being divided. They're separate, overcome and conquer is what I see going on. All right. And if we all stop and we come together, you know what? It's time. I'll shut up. Watch the video. Tell me what you think. You can say, Rob, you're a schmuck. And that's okay. I don't care, but it is. I'm tired of going around some of these things. It's like, why is everybody going off about this? Why is nobody asking this question? And so that's there. So I'm starting to do a couple of those. So tell me if you like it. Tell me if you don't, and we'll see what goes on.
All right. Cool. I'm curious to see what the feedback's going to be.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Cool. I don't really have anything going on. I'm working. That's all I'm doing these days. I'm not doing anything extra right now. Getting ready for Thanksgiving. That's about it. Doing the thing.
And we're going to have a show next week, right? Next week's Thanksgiving, isn't it? Or is it the following week?
Correct. Next Wednesday. The next Thursday.
Okay. So a week from tomorrow.
So Wednesday we'll do the day before Thanksgiving.
All
and
right.
I think maybe we were talking, Rob, you and I, and maybe talk about how to honor your ancestors and gratitude at your Thanksgiving feast.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
I have you can't see my shirt anymore, but like this one I have a skull. He's in a Santa.
Oh, there you go.
Present. But I have a Thanksgiving one.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That'll be
He's
fun.
turkey. He says moo.
All right. Happy
Anyway.
Thanksgiving. Give an Indian a blanket, you know?
Yeah, right. Give an Indian a blanket. Scarlet fever.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody.
All right.
Miss Bridget, thank you.
Thank you. I will see you later. We'll see you guys later. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.